Hey, what's up, Miami? It's 305 Sports Now. I am your host, Will. Thanks for watching. And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for the support. Unfortunately, as promised, I have to deliver some bad news as the Miami Hurricanes lose out on four-star safety out of New Jersey, Addae Bonsu. He made it official today at 4 p.m. as Jaden decides to go with the Ohio State University Buckeyes instead of the Miami Hurricanes. All right, so that was a bit of a crushing blow to the Canes. That's somebody that they really coveted because as of right now, Miami does not have a safety that has committed to for the 2023 class. Right, just still, do not fret, and so on. Canes fans, I know some Canes fans are wondering about, can Jamil Addae actually recruit? Was the Georgia factor more than anything? Now that he's in a program that hasn't been as successful, we're starting to see who. Listen, guys, there's still a lot of recruiting left. They have the signing period is actually December, and then the late signing period is January and February. So there's a lot of times to get some guys, in particular that are still out there. Okay, that may want to come to the U and whatnot. But so much credit to OSU that OSU was able to pull it off, and they were able to stave off the Miami Hurricanes as the Canes were the front runner early on. Actually, I'm sorry. Ohio State was a front runner, then Miami was a front runner, and then Ohio State became the front runner, and Ohio State won out, and the Canes, were not able to get the commit. So pretty much what I'm going to cover today is just go over a little bit of what Ohio State, which I've done before, is getting in a player when it comes to Bonsu. Okay, what is next for Jamil Addae? And one thing I will say about you Buckeye fans, man, you are truly passionate because the University of Miami, although we have a bit of a history together in terms of championship games and some regular season games and so on, we really don't see each other much. We really, I think the last time we played you guys at Ohio State, was Randy Shannon was the head coach. So we really don't see Ohio State on the schedule on a regular basis. But you are very vocal in trolling, my channel and trolling Canes fans, and I'm gonna respond, to a couple comments that I saw regarding the Bonsu and regarding Addae, and now that that's said and done, so I will respond to you, in regards to comments that were laid out on my channel. Okay, so stay tuned for that one. But I want to go first a little bit on what made him so attractive and so on is the fact that I'm talking about Jaden Bonsu is that he's a hard hitting safety. Okay, he's a no nonsense safety. He's a guy that could cover in space. Okay, he's he's a guy that won't miss many tackles, good in space. Like I said, he's good in covering, as well as I've mentioned before in the past. I won't get completely too much into his statistics. And to be very honest and so on, just like the Miami Hurricanes, Ohio State was in need of a safety. Okay, the Ohio State Buckeyes were horrific in offense. On defense. Offense, they were fantastic. Okay, so I will be very honest about that. CJ Stroud is earning his Heisman consideration. But they were horrific, and I mean horrific, and I say that again, horrific on defense last year. Okay, Ohio State, hires a new defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, who was a DC over at Oklahoma State under Mike Gundy, and he's wants to bring back the old silver bullet defense and wants to bring back, for Ryan Day, make it a top 5 defense, as the old Buckeyes of the past were, and so on. So we'll see what happens because Ohio State's defense has been absolutely horrible before Jim Knowles took over. It actually even goes a little bit back to when Greg Schiano was the D coordinator over there the last couple of years of Urban Meyer. All right, so a little bit about why they needed him. Well, let's go a little bit. Passing yards per game, Ohio State gave up over 246 yards per game in the Big Ten. That is the third worst in the Big Ten. Third down percentage, they 42% of the time they gave up a third down. And the one that is the major bugaboo, teams that enter the red zone against Ohio State, I want you guys to hear me over there in Columbus, scored on you 74% of the time. All right, so you guys scored on 74% of the time. All right, so that's pretty much why you guys need a guy like Bonsu and so on your team. All right, so that's just a little bit about why Jaden Bonsu is a good fit. He's a young talent. He's going to fit in well, in Jim Knowles' system, which is going to be a 4-2-5. All right, similar to what Kevin Steele is going to run here. He's a very disciplined, D coordinator, old school, 57 years of age. So I think that Ohio State possibly has a bright future on the other side of the ball, which they haven't had the last 3 seasons, and we're gonna get into how bad they were last year. In terms of 2 games, I'm gonna go over, possibly even add in a third. I might be a little nice. I don't know. All right. So what's up with Jamil Addae? Okay. Well, Jamil Addae has not been able to land a safety. Okay. Miami was able to land, a couple good prospects last year with Avante Williams and also James Williams as well, but not this year. Okay, we have only Robert Stafford, who is the only defensive back committed, to the Miami Hurricanes, and he's a cornerback. He's not a safety. So Miami strikes out on Joel Aguero. They strike out on Jaden Bonsu. It is projected that Cormani McLean will go to Florida, not Alabama, as was also mentioned in my commentary. He is projected to go to Florida. It's a fight between the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida Gators. The fact that Cormani has not yet committed means there's still a chance, because he hasn't even set a commitment date either, at least not that I know of from what I understand. All right, so the Canes, who are a part of the top 5, do have an opportunity to sell McLean on why he should be a Miami Hurricane. All right. But that's pretty much a little bit about that. So there is a Cormani McLean. There's still some guys that I know that you is going to be targeting, and hopefully, although they are verbally committed to some teams, they may flip them, and on signing day as well. This isn't over. It's a hard commit, meaning that these guys are committed and they've said it openly that they're committed, and they're probably going to stay committed on National Signing Day. But there have been occasions where guys do flip, okay, as we have seen, in recent history, okay, as well. Like, for example, it was seen that Jalil Skinner was going to commit to Alabama. He was, nope, he became a Cane. So those are just a little bit of what we're going to talk about. Does this mean that if Jamil Addae doesn't have a good year recruiting this year, does that mean he's a bad recruiter? No. All right. There's years where, you struggle, you hit and miss, and so on. So we're going to see, how he does towards the end. We're also going to see also important part is the improvements of the defensive backs. All right. So if he's coaching these guys well and they're much more efficient, in breaking up passes and getting interceptions and creating turnovers in the defensive backfield, we'll see Jamil Addae is proven to be a great hire. I still think he's a good hire. He was a top recruiter last year. I don't think nothing's changed. It's just now players that we've been targeting for whatever reason. They like the other schools better. In some cases, it's facilities, tradition, chances to play. Those are all things that factor in. NIL is that's another big one too. That's another reason why players choose these schools, as well. All right. So that's just a little bit about Jamil Addae. I think the Canes are still in good shape. All right. I do predict that Jamil Addae will get at least 1 safety, 2 safeties, me even, towards the end of this recruiting cycle, because as I mentioned in previous video casts and so on, in previous videos, that the college football is a more pass-oriented league at the moment. Spread offenses are all over the place. RPO style offenses are all over the place. So you can never have enough defensive backs. But even if we don't land a let's say a 4 or 5 star safety for this recruiting cycle, Miami is in good shape because their safety position is incredibly young. Okay, James Williams. All right, you have James Williams. You have Avante Williams as well. You have Cam Kitchens. Okay, they're very young guys. All right, so if not for 2023, you can start targeting guys for 2024, right? Which the U is already doing. So even if we don't, again, you want to have depth and talent acquisition like we have right now in the O-line. We have right now at the wide receiver position. We definitely have it at the running back position. We even have it at the quarterback position. Oh, so we're trying to build that, as far as safeties go. The D-line, as I mentioned last video, also has a lot of depth as well, with the acquisition of some transfer portal guys like Mesidor and also Liechtenstein. Okay. All right. Now going over into the bugaboo. Okay. Usually, I interact with listeners and watchers, in these respective channels. But I thought, that these individuals, which I won't say their names on this channel, I'm not gonna give them that much credit. A couple things were said, as Bonsu committed, we got a lot of trolls. It's funny though, because like Miami and Florida hate each other, and I heard nothing, when Andy Jean committed to Florida, and I heard nothing, from the Cardinal fans, when William Foles committed to Louisville. But the OSU Buckeyes, man, you guys really have to talk to people, man. No wonder Michigan hates you so much. My goodness. I mean, one of the things that was said, in particular, was that when I made the comment in one of my short little videos that Oregon beat the pants off of Ohio State. And the fan pointed, or the listener pointed out, I'm not calling him a fan, but the listener pointed out, the troll pointed out that it was only a 7-point defeat. Well, you're right. It was only a 7 point defeat, but the score wasn't indicative of the game. Okay. You guys did get manhandled. Okay. You scored 14 points in the fourth quarter, and your quarterback had to do all the work because your running game was trash. All right. Your running game was absolute garbage. You sucked running the football. And you got murked by Oregon's offense. Right. First of all, number one, you were at home. You were at home. You're ranked 6th in the country, and Oregon is ranked 22. You weren't supposed to lose that game at all, let alone only lose by 7. You were supposed to kill Oregon, and Oregon killed you. Let me explain why. All right. Anthony Brown, okay, who's a decent quarterback, but he's not Tyler Van Dyke, and he's not Justin Herbert. Okay, went 17 for 35 for 206 yards that game, 2 touchdown passes, and no interceptions. But what really mauled you was the running game, which I mentioned. That's how you got your pants beat out, because the O-line pushed you all over the field in your own home field. All right. The O-line under CJ Verdell, the running backs, CJ Verdell and Travis Dye, and so on, pretty much wrecked you, as Verdell on 20 carries had 161 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and Dye had 8 carries, 43 yards rushing. That's, by the way, if you don't think that's a lot, that's over 5 yards per carry, and a touchdown as well. Anthony Brown had 10 carries for 65 yards, averaging 6 yards a pop. All right. So your running game, your run defense was absolutely destroyed. You had nothing to stand on. You were destroyed all over the field. Now, you did outgain. Okay. You did definitely outgain Oregon, but you did it with finesse through the air. You guys listen, CJ Stroud is a hell of a quarterback. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate, and he's probably going to be a first-round pick. All right, I understand that. Okay, but if it wasn't for CJ Stroud, you would have never been in that game. Stroud had to throw the ball 54 times, all right, in that football game, with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Now, as far as team stats go for that game, you did first of all, your offense, like I said, is sensational. All right, but you did have 612 yards of total offense, but Oregon had 505. And their approach was very balanced, because Brown throws for 236, Oregon runs for 269. This is where you're lopsided, all right? Because Stroud threw for 484, but she only had 128 yards rushing, okay? That is it. That is it on 31 attempts. That's it. So, yeah, you averaged about 4 yards a carry, but Oregon averaged 7. Okay, so you were manhandled. You got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. All right. And then when it came time to take over the game and win the game on your home field, all right, on your home field, what ends up happening? Oregon steps up on defense, and so on, and you lose. All right. You got picked off, and then you got sacked at the end of the game. All right. So that's pretty much what happened, and so on in that football game. So you were manhandled. Right, you were absolutely manhandled in that football game, because Oregon basically played their game. All right, they ran the football down your throat, All right, and also they had a decent passing game as well. They protected their quarterback, because Brown was able to do what Brown does. So that's a little bit what happened. But this is another game where you were manhandled a bit too. Okay, now Mario Cristobal was the coach at Oregon. Michigan finally beats you guys, and their OC is Josh Gaddis, who happens to be our OC, by the way, our offensive coordinator. And you guys got there you can't say you didn't get your tails whooped, because you lost 42-27. And again, that's a game that wasn't even that close either. All right, so let's look at a little bit of how Cade McNamara did. All right, so Cade McNamara, the quarterback over at Michigan, in general, only had 159 yards passing, all right, for that game. All right, but the running game went berserk. Okay, you had Haskins with 169 yards rushing. All right, you had Corum with 87 yards rushing. Michigan's had over 200, almost 300 yards on the ground. So my point is, your defense sucks. That's why you have a new that's why you have a new defensive coordinator, right? So your new defensive coordinator, and that's why you needed a guy like Bonsu. So why are you talking trash? You won the battle, all right? But the bottom line is that you guys are petty. You have nothing better to do in Columbus, all right? And that's pretty much I see. So you were manhandled by Oregon. You were manhandled by Michigan, all right, as well. Okay. And not only that, Tulsa also destroyed you guys as well, as their quarterback went berserk on you. Okay, so Tulsa, let me look at the numbers right. Yeah, so Davis Brin, the quarterback over at Tulsa, yeah, 2 picks, we had 2 touchdowns, but he threw for over 428 yards against you guys. So your pass defense is just terrible. All right, so that's pretty much what it is. Your pass defense is just terrible. And that's why again you have a new defensive coordinator. We're not better. All right, we're not any better. Okay, the Canes are not any better. Again, the whole idea behind draft picks and stuff like that. Ohio State's sending more guys now to the NFL. Yeah, let me tell you, you've been a lot better than but UM's still sending guys to the NFL. All right, just last year, all right, we had 2 guys go in the first round. We had Greg Rousseau and Jalen Phillips go in the first round, right? One to Buffalo, one to the Miami Dolphins. All right, both had pretty decent seasons as well. All right, so again, quarterback play. Listen, you guys at Ohio State, your quarterback play throughout the years, especially when Urban Meyer took over, has been phenomenal. Not taking it away from you, and so on. You've got your wide receivers are very well coached. Brian Hartline was a Miami Dolphin for many years. Your wide receivers are very well coached. But if you guys are gonna troll Canes fans, because of what a local broadcaster here says, guess what? We will respond. All right. And we do have a good coaching staff. We have a good coach. We have a coach that's beaten you guys. Okay. We like it or not. And an OC that ran all over you guys as well. So the bottom line is that you haven't won a national championship in 2015. We haven't won one since 2001. All right. So we'll see who gets there first. Okay. Chances are, we'll see who gets there first. Okay. Seasons are unpredictable because you're the Ohio State, but you're not Alabama, you're not Georgia, and you're not Clemson. Okay. So that's just a little bit about that. Okay. So just as of right now, those are the 3 that are the most feared teams, in college football. Clemson, not so much. All right. Clemson had an off year, but the year before they were pretty good. All right. Alabama still strong. And now Georgia is a beast of itself, as well. So we're just trying to get back in, just like you guys are trying to get back in. You got a new D coordinator, we got a new head coach. But the bottom line is that we're both in the same road trying to get that national championship. You guys are just a little closer because you've recruited well, you've been more successful. But if you're gonna troll me and then say that, oh well, we weren't manhandled and all that stuff, and we don't send guys to the NFL, that's all petty stuff. Because the bottom line is that we don't even play you guys. We're not even rivals. Again, we've had our run-ins, but we're not really rivals. But the bottom line is, when push comes to shove, we'll see who gets there first. All right, we'll see who gets there first. We'll see whose recruiting class plays better as well. And we'll see exactly, what you guys are made of. Now that you have these young guys that you say are so good. Okay, let's see if we can actually stop the run this year and not give up 75%, almost 75%, of teams that enter the red zone actually score on you with touchdowns. And so we'll see about that. But guess what? We're coming back. We're coming for you. If that's the case, we will meet one day, hopefully in the playoffs, and we're coming for you. All right, Ohio State, because you're good, but it's something about that that gets people pissed off. Because like I said, we haven't been very relevant, but you still found the time to troll us. What does that say about you guys? Let's say about you guys. All right, folks, that's it for me. Hope you liked the show. Hope you like what you heard. Once again, if you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share the 3 to 5 Sports Now. Everybody, see you soon. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon.